Hey there, Dressage fans. I had someone ask me last week who I would pick for the teams. And so I decided to have a little bit of fun here and pick the teams for both the US and Canada, since those are the riders and the teams that I watch the most closely here at Dressage Hub. So let's get started. Let's have some fun. For the record, I have no involvement in picking the teams. This is purely for sports talk, Karen. It's a joke. It's fun. Who would you pick on the team? We've already sort of touched base on that on Dressage Hub. So let's have some fun on my thoughts on how I would pick and build some teams here in Dressage. All right, so let's get started. There is 3 riders who managed to qualify, 2 horses in close contention. So Adrian Lyle, Nick Wagman, and Susan Duda. So congrats to them. That's a big accomplishment just to get started. First on the list, Stefan Peters. Why? Because he's a legend and he's the only rider that came back from a year off in a pandemic looking like he still wanted to own it. Everybody else came back. The first couple weeks, they're all shaky. Stefan came in like a champion, the champion that he is. So we're taking him to Tokyo. Next up, Adrian Lyle, a fan favorite, and she's kind of a 2-for-1 because she's got 2 horses, both in top contention, and it gives us a plan B in case things go sideways. That aside, her horse Albino looks in top form and has some of the top scores that we've seen all season. So we're excited, and we are taking Adrian Lyle to Tokyo with us. Next up, Sabine and Senseo. We are taking them because they have had a consistent and top-ranking season. Both horse and rider are in top form, looking good and ready to go to Tokyo. Charlotte Yorst, I would love to take this woman. She's one of my favorites. I adore her, but she's kind of had a rough year. So we're going to give her the year off, and I'm going to tell you why a little later in this video. But it won't be wasted. It's going to be super awesome, but we're going to give her a little time off, little rebreather, and she's going to go do some retail therapy. Olivia and Lenoir are going to go. They're part of my list. I am a strong believer in politics making teams, so not supporter, believer. Marianne McPhail is a part owner in this horse, and she is a strong supporter of Youssef financially. So I feel like this is going to be the pick for the team when you could shuffle riders either way. They still have a training camp to go to, but that is my opinion that is going to wrap up the US team. I found out this week that Canada doesn't have a team coach. The UK has 3, like a biomechanics coach, a show coach, like an FEI judge that works you through test prep, and another coach. And so in addition to the rest of the team members, like sports psychologists, etc. So when I found out the Canadian team didn't have a coach, I decided it's time to declare myself the Canadian team coach because they need all the help they can get just to get into the point where they can be mediocre at the Olympics. So here we go. Here is my take on who I would pick and choose for the Canadian team to go to Tokyo. All right, let's do this. One of the top qualifiers coming into this year was Brittany Fraser in All In. I'm going to say Brittany's going to take the summer off and go home and be a mom. All In is not going to vet in Tokyo. We've watched him get more and more lame over the season. He's not going to cut it. Last year would have been his year. This year he is out. Jill Irving, she's between horses essentially. Arthur's not quite good enough. Degas is done. He came in lame week 1, hasn't ever really recovered, and the judges have noticed it too. So she is going to, Jill Irving has FU money. She's going to meet up with Charlotte Yorst, and they're both going to go horse shopping. And Charlotte Yorst is going to show her how it's done because she's managed to collect all the pretty horses. She's like the pretty woman of the horse world. She just collects amazing horses, and I feel like Jill Irving could really use the help in that, spending her FU money on some really good quality horses. So Charlotte and Jill, gonna take some girl time, go get together and go horse shopping. Lindsay, we're taking her to Tokyo, but we've got to fix this little issue happening here. We saw it in the live stream and the warm-up in WEC, and now we're starting to see it in the show ring here at Tryon at their last qualifier. So we're gonna find her vet, farrier, dentist, coach, whatever it takes to fix this little issue, because the horse is getting more and more sour as it progresses, and we don't want this to go along. She's had some amazing rides, had a strong season. It's time to fix some problems. Chris von Martels, he's coming. He does this final center line like a boss. If you haven't watched it, here it is. He comes down. Most of these women come down center line like they're tired, exhausted, and ready to die. He comes down like he's still got 90% left in the tank. Like he owns this final center line like nobody else. So we're taking him because we want that attitude in the ring. Naima, she's young. We're taking her mostly because she's young and she's going to be able to make more teams in the future. She's been pretty steady throughout the season, gradually getting better and better. We want to take her for the experience. Canada has no long-term plan for their team. We're making one today. Naima is it. Tina Irwin, we're taking her too. She came in late to the season. They decided to stay in Canada due to the pandemic. That's a personal choice. She came in the same way most riders came in week 1, and she just showed her first show this year. Her horse is fresh, that's great. But we are going to send her to the boot camp that Stephen Peters went to because we want her show presence to look like his week 1 when she comes out, because there's not a lot of horse shows left to get back into the swing of things. That is a wrap. That is my choice for both the US and Canadian teams and what I would do to manage those Canadians so they can go and be at least mediocre at the Tokyo Olympics.